Thanks for watching Film Buff, really, honestly. It's fucking great.
Hello, how's it going, guys? My name is Aim, Film Buff. Alright, man, so it's time for episode 24. Just checked out episode 23, so super excited to keep it going. Before that, I need to thank all the missing patrons. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for sticking around. You guys are brilliant. Thank you so much. Also, a reminder to anyone else, if you like my stuff and you would like to check out some early access episodes, a few episodes ahead, and full episode reactions. You know, I do have to cut down a lot of my reaction to fit the 10 minutes. So if you're into that, if you want to check that out, check out my Patreon. The cliffhanger ending, Annie turns. And, you know, now it's officially confirmed that she is the female Titan. Everyone knows now. And yeah, man, I don't even know. This is going to be madness. I'm ready, man. Let's just get right into it. Oh, this is it. Levi 編長。
向かいの憲兵団が先に来ちまうじゃねえか。大方クソがなかなか出なくて困ってんだろうな。
兵長、今日はよく喋りますね。
バカ言え。俺はもともと結構喋る。
Is that sake or tea? That's tea.
すいません。俺があの時選択を間違わなければこんなことには。
言っただろうが、結果は誰にもわからんと。
女型の巨人と思わしき人物を見つけた。
Armin finally
今
spoke
度
to
こそ
him.
確実に捉える。最下層まで連れ込めば、サイズと強度から考えて、たとえ目標が巨人化しても動きを封じることは可能だ。
And she was
だ
smart,
が
man.
万
She
が一
knew.
その前に巨人化した場合、エレン、君に頼むことになる。
はい。それで肝心の目標はストヘス区にいることは確実なん
She's
です
there,
か。
bro.
ああ、目標は憲兵団に所属している。
憲兵団に。
それを割り出したのはアルミンだ。曰く女型は生け捕りにした2体の巨人を殺した犯人と思われ、君たち104機訓練兵の同期である可能性がある。
ちょっと待ってください。
Bombshell about to drop on Aaron.
104機って
その女型の巨人と思わしき女性の名は、
ちょっと。
アニ・レオンハート。
What's her theme?
こっちに来い。行くぞ。離れんなよ。
Oh.
またかよ。そんな。
Clear goal. Intention.
目的がしっかりないと巨人になれないんだっけ。もう一度イメージしよう。強く。
That's the thing, though. Is there a clear goal in his head right now? Ugh.
本当にまだ兄と戦うことを躊躇してるんじゃないの。
That's it. That's it.
あなたはさっき目の前で何を見たの。
Look at that.
仲間を殺したのはあの
Look at
女
that
でしょ。
shot.
まだ違うと思うの。
なんでそう思うんだよ、アルミン。
女型の巨人は最初からエレンの顔を知っていた。それに同期しか知らないはずのエレンの女が死に
Exactly.
急ぎ野郎に反応を見せた。何より大きいのは実験体だったソニーとビンを殺したと思われるのが兄だからだ。
他に根拠はないのか。
ありません。兄は女型と顔が似てると私は思います。
That too.
は？何言ってんだ。そんな程度の根拠で。
つまり証拠はねえがやるんだな。
証拠がない。
There is proof, but it's not like.
なんでやるんだ。
エレン、兄と聞いた今、思い当たることはないの。
The stance. Yeah, it was a stance.
女型の巨人と格闘戦を交えたのなら兄独特の技術を目にしたりはしなかったの。
You know, bro. Left high kick. Damn, that's just like Crow Cop.
分かってるんでしょう。女型の巨人が兄だってこと。それとも何か特別な感情が妨げになってるの。
ミカさん、アルミン、なんでお前らは戦えるんだよ。なんで。
仕方ないでしょ。世界は残酷なんだから。
ここはウォールシーナだぞ。巨人など現れるわけがない。
待て、動くな家が。変装ごっこはもう終わりだ。二度とその名前で呼ぶなよ、バカ野郎。
バカ野郎。
俺も行きます。装備は第4班から受け取れ。了解。
威勢がいいのはいいが、死なねえ工夫は忘れんなよ。
はい。
エルヴィ、あれはどういう。
班長、これを。ご苦労。
Oh, the commander is gonna enter.
動ける者は全員続け。
貴様のやっていることは王政に対する明らかな反逆行為だ。
ナイル、てめえの脳みそはそのウスラヒゲみたいにスカスカか。何が起きてるかもわからねえらしいな。
装備を外せ、エルヴィ。
タックのんびりしやがって。俺だって本当はあっち側にいられたんじゃねえか。それがどうしちまったんだかな。
That's right, Sean. Made the right move.
返事して。
おい、何やってんだよ。
ジョン、エレンがこの下に。
作戦じゃ巨人になるはずだったろ。
Sean's like, what
で
the
き
hell?
なかったんだ。多分女型の正体が兄だったのがブレーキになって。
何。
とにかく助け出さないと。ジョン、手を貸して。
できなかった。エレン、お前ふざけんなよ。いつかお前に頼むって言ったはずだよな。お前なんかに世界や人類や自分の命を預けなきゃなんねえ俺たちへの見返りがこれかよ。マルコはな。
God damn.
ダメだ、先にあいつをなんとかしねえと。
エレン、前にジャンに言ったことがあるんだ。何も捨てることができない人に何も変えることはできない。化け物をしのぐために必要なら人間性さえ捨てる。きっと兄はそれができる。
Gotta do the same, Aaron.
わからないけど、でもそれができる者が勝つ。今度こそ僕を殺さなきゃ。かけたのはここからだなんて負け惜しみも言えなくなるぞ。
アルミン、こっちだ。
Hanji.
分隊長、目が泳ぎすぎです。
Oh, again. And he's like, oh, fucking hell, again.
俺はそこに仲間やその絆にすがって失敗した。思い出せ。正しいかどうかなんて考えてる 暇はない。とにかく動け。綺麗事で終わろうとすんな。そう。ミカサ。世界は残酷なんだ。今度なんだ。
Kitty. The rematch. Alright, so that's it, man. Sets up the finale. So the big finale is the rematch. Has Eren learned enough and improved enough to best Annie this time? Because he got absolutely handled the first time they fought. Alright, so that sets it up nicely, for the final. The finale, the rematch, Eren and Annie, in their Titan forms. Yeah, man. So, you know, the crucial thing here is, has Eren learned enough from his past experiences, from the first fight, from his time as a Titan? Is he going to be able to bring it all together, and match Annie? Because she's a savage, right? She'll fuck him up if he brings the same thing again. So he's gonna need something quite exceptional to beat her. Yeah, man, going all the way back to episode 3 or 4, episode 4, the training episode, right? Episode 3 had the training as well, but I believe episode 4 had the encounter. It was Reiner and Eren, and Reiner, makes her go up against Annie. I never would have thought that the finale is going to be those two coming together again. And this time, the stakes are much, much more intense. The stakes are real this time. One of them might die in this fight. So yeah, crazy parallel. Back then, Eren's learning, hand-to-hand combat and the importance of hand-to-hand combat. Annie bested him back then in episode 4. Flipped him over her head. She bested him in the fight in the forest. This is it, a third time, right? I mean, the first fight, it wasn't really a fight. It was just an encounter, a quick, training. It was training, but still, it's a third time they kind of go hand-to-hand combat. Yeah, he's gonna have to just bring it all together, show that he's learned from his mistakes. He's made a lot of mistakes. Show that he can control himself and use what he's learned, and somehow best Annie. So that's gonna be exciting. I get to watch it right after this, but before that, lots to talk about. The structure of this episode, I've kind of seen it before. Eren kind of taking a full episode to finally come to his senses, that type of thing. I saw it back in the whole story arc about plugging the hole. It took him like a full episode to finally break loose and take control, and even back then it was Armin, right? It was Armin who helped him break loose. Even this time it was Armin helped him break loose, helped him realize that you have to abandon your humanity to defeat these monsters. Annie can do it. Can you do it? If you can do it, perhaps there's a chance. Armin has been kind of crucial for Eren and showing him the light. Back then he got him to do it. Now he got him to do it. So Armin and Eren's relationship is quite important. It's important. He's brilliant. Armin is brilliant. I've loved his journey from episode 1 all the way to this episode right now, episode 24. But also I feel like this approach had to be taken so some of the other characters can get some of the limelight, because if I don't know, if Eren doesn't go through the struggle once again, then, you know, these characters are not going to have the chance to be showcased. You know, a lot of these characters, Hanji got a chance to be in there. It showed us like Nile and Commander Smith, you know, that whole thing going on there. It showed us Jean, who's fantastic again. It showed us Armin and Mikasa doing their thing out there. So yeah, you know, it gave some of the other characters a chance to kind of shine. Finally, by the end, you know, he starts realizing the mistakes he's made, and how he's clung on to his friends, and, you know, a lot of his decisions have cost him dearly, you know, and it's showing the flashes of the Levi squad just dead, you know. Again, he's gonna keep thinking of that, right, over and over. He's gonna blame himself. Even shots of his mom, I believe that's what kind of really finally made him realize. And, you know, he starts tapping into something, like, even in his human form, like the face he's making. Holy shit, there was something going on there, man. Pure rage. That was like pure rage, man. Even in his human form, he's got something sticking in his shoulder and he's like pushing through it. You know, there's no time to think if it's right or wrong. Just act. All this kind of goes hand in hand, you know. Commander Smith talking about how, you know, major risks have to be taken now, you know, because they're ready to take all kinds of risks. A few episodes ago, back around the female Titan arc, Commander Smith said something similar, you know, and now it has to be outside of the box thinking. Now it has to be the big risk, you know, no more by the book, because, you know, they're not playing by the book, because they're ready to do anything. And yeah, by the end, you know, he finally decides to take it into his own hands. Okay, let's go to the top of the episode. Cold open, and for the first time I get to see the Titan transformation actually happen, because, you know, anytime I've seen it before, it's just like just the quick flashes. Eren does it and it's a flash and a smoke and he comes out. Colossal shows up, you know, big flash, the surge of electricity, and Colossal showed up. For the first time I actually saw it being formed. You know, Annie's in the back and it's raising up to the top. But yeah, you know, once again, it takes me back in time a bit, back to the Scout HQ, right? The new one, or the old one, you know, the castle. And, you know, it shows me a different type of Levi. You know, much more relaxed, much more talkative. And Eren notices this immediately, you know, and he asked him about it. You know, is this him just trying to move on from that topic? You know, the elephant in the room, you know, most of the Levi squad is gone. They died. And, you know, perhaps he's trying to distract himself. Perhaps he's trying to just, you know, not bring that up. Just move on from it. But, you know, that being said, I do feel like he's not the type of person that is going to dwell on that too much longer. You know, I feel like he had his moment in episode 22. I feel like he had his moment of sadness and grief, but I feel like he's a strong enough person that he's moved on from that, or he can move on from that. He's not gonna let it just bring him down and just defeat him. You know, he knows life goes on. He knows he's a soldier, he's a scout. But yeah, you know, he is a bit more talkative and relaxed in front of Eren. You know, perhaps a sign of respect. You know, he knows Eren much more. He saw Eren in action. He's seen Eren go through it. So perhaps, you know, it's a trust thing. Now he has that trust, and that connection, you know. And also because, you know, he is the last remaining member of his squad. Now I say that, but did they ever make him a member of the Levi squad? He did say a long time ago that I'll make you a scout. You know, he was part of the Levi squad back around those episodes. Part of that squad, they experienced all of that together. I feel like Levi's gained a lot of trust out of this, at least. And, you know, again, he doesn't blame him. He made it clear he doesn't blame him. He told him again, you know, I told you, it's impossible. You know, it's almost impossible to know the outcome. Commander, so, you know, he knows how big of a chance this is, and he knows it has to be risked. You know, because he spoke of making the big moves, making the unexpected, risky moves, and to, you know, go all in, go against the grain, you know. and this is it. This is the chance, and he's all in, man. He didn't hesitate. The moment he knew this is a possibility, he's taken that chance. And that's a risk. Since I've seen Commander Smith, he's always been making these moves, and now these moves are getting even bigger, even riskier. He knows what has to be done. Yeah, the plan is to bring it down there, down the stairs, underground. The confined space of being underground, it's not ideal for transformations. So Annie is too smart. She didn't fall for it. She didn't go down there. So she's getting a little bit more desperate now. It's kind of like the end game. But once again, Armin mentions that it just goes to show how desperate she is to get Eren, to capture him. Again, that raises the question: why does she need him so bad? She needs him. She's so desperate to get Eren, and not to kill him, but to take him. Now, her first attempt, she ended up running into Levi, right? Who absolutely just destroyed her. And she was quite upset that, she couldn't get Eren. So it's gotta be something major, man. It's gotta mean something big to her to have Eren, to bring him back somewhere. I did mention that perhaps this ability is like a curse, not something she signed up for, something that wasn't in her control. Is it possible that she's taking Eren, and having Eren is gonna give her some kind of chance to get rid of this? The last episode, she mentioned that, she just wants to be looked at as a person. So I don't know. It's possible that she might be trying to just get rid of this. If it's possible to get rid of this Titan ability. And maybe Eren is the key to that, or he is useful in that process somehow. Maybe she's taking him to the basement in Shiganshina. That's possible as well, because she overheard Commander Smith, openly talking about that. Maybe she thinks that might help her. Again, now this is like totally out there right now. I'm just going off on a tangent. Maybe her plan is to take him to the basement, because apparently that's the big secret down there. It's the key to understanding them. So yeah, maybe she thinks there's something down there for her. If indeed she wants to get rid of her ability. That's just like that's me going off on a tangent. I'm just throwing stuff out there, like a what if situation. Now Eren tries to trigger his Titan ability, but once again he comes up against that problem. He can't do it, man. He's digging in there, man. And he bites in there, man. He's really like messing his hand up. But he just can't do it, man. And at this point, there is no chance of having a clear goal, clear thoughts, or intent. His mind is probably just like all over the place. He's still rattled at the thought of Annie actually being the female Titan. This is a person that he's always associated with the good guys, right? Us humans against them, the Titans. To him, it's pretty clear cut. Annie is, in his mind, she's always been on their side, on his side. She's a human. So to all of a sudden get this, shock, even though they prepped him for this, he's still kind of rattled, At this point, he's not able to, shift her to that side, all of a sudden, and then just, decide that, yep, okay, she's the enemy now, I'm gonna fight her. No, man, that was a struggle. Big struggle for him this episode, right? Took him all episode, basically, to somehow get through that. Because up until recently, this is not a person he thought of ever fighting to the death, or having to kill, or being on the opposite ends. This is someone he respects. This is someone, he considers a friend. He's just having a really hard time, associating her, with the dark side, the bad guys. And Mikasa tries, she kind of gets, beside his ear. There's that, really intense shot of her eye. I thought it was a great shot, and she's really dialing in. She's really trying to get into his thought process. She's like, you just saw this. You saw it happen in front of you. That's Annie. How could you possibly think it's not her? and I, at one point, did I sense jealousy? I believe she said something like, "Is it possible other feelings are stopping you?" Making it sound like perhaps she's asking him if you have feelings for her. You know, do you like her? Do you have an attachment to her? A romantic attachment. I'm not sure if that was jealousy. You know, she brought it up, like, you know, she did bring it up, but it is interesting that she thought that she should bring this up, you know, ask him about that. I don't think there's any romantic attachment. It's more so that, you know, he respects her and considers her, you know, a friend, and he just can't pull the trigger. You know, he can't pull the trigger. And at this point, it kind of took me back to the HQ, Scouts HQ, right, the castle. And at this point, Armin is kind of telling us all the different reasons he thought it's Annie. Or not us. I think he's trying to explain it to Eren. Because Eren is, you know, super skeptical. You know, he is not buying this. He thinks it crazy for even questioning or doubting Annie. You know, and he starts just, you know, going off and, you know, giving him the reasons. You know, she knew your face from the beginning. She reacted to your nickname, Suicidal Maniac, and only our classmates know about that name. She killed Sunny and Bean and used Marco's gear to cover up for that. He's making a lot of sense, right? Armin's making a lot of sense. He's kind of laying out a picture. And, you know, I feel like in his younger days, Commander Smith, he was probably like Armin. You know, he probably sees a lot of himself in Armin. I think so, at least. So he's got to be impressed. You know, I think he's got to be impressed with Armin. So interesting dynamic here, because both Mikasa and Armin are trying to make it clear that it's Annie. But, you know, Eren is not having it. He's challenging everything. And, you know, Levi isn't convinced either. He's kind of questioning these reasons. And he's saying that, you know, so I believe at one point he said, oh, so we're going to go after her, you know, without any proof. So I thought it was a bit of a cool dynamic that both, you know, Eren and Levi are kind of taking her side. More so Eren than Levi. Levi just cares about actual proper proof. But Eren is trying to, you know, defend her and challenge any of these reasons. Until Mikasa reminds him, she's like, do you remember anything? Did anything remind you of Annie? You know, at that time you fought her in the forest. And yes, it comes to him. And they show me, finally, that it was the stance. It was her stance. She's got this Muay Thai stance, and Eren recognized it. And now I know. He almost said Annie before he got his head kicked. I thought he initially got punched, but she high kicked him. And just knocked his head off. So, see, now you get to face the reality that, oh shit, okay, you know, it was almost as if he suppressed it, you know? This encounter, this thing he noticed. Now it's kind of come back out. You know, Mikasa kind of made him think about it again. It's like sometimes, you know, it's like you're dreading something and you kind of put it to the side. You don't want to face it. That's what happened here. You have to face it. That's kind of what I'm doing as well, you know, in terms of something else in this show at the moment. You know, putting it to the side, just kind of dreading it. Yeah, so Armin once again takes action, man. He tells Mikasa to go out one end and he goes out himself the other end. And, you know, I feel like this is to give Eren a bit of a jump start, give him some real stake, you know, by asking Mikasa to go out and going out himself. You know, it's Eren now knows that his friends are out there fighting her, you know. So I feel like that's what Armin did here, to give him that clear goal and that intention. But, you know, before anything can happen, Eren kind of gets smashed. She stomps down again, and Eren he's knocked out, right? And he's impaled, like that thing comes through his shoulder. Another aspect of this episode, the commander being held up by the military police, or Nile and the military police. It's crazy that Nile is more concerned, you know, with holding Commander Smith here. Jean had some really cool moments in this episode. The first one being him finally getting out of the buggy and telling them he's not going to pretend anymore. You know, he wants to enter the fight. He wants to help. And, you know, as he's running by, he sees all these military police guys up top, you know, just really confused and not, you know, just they're trying to hang back, you know, they're not trying to really go to the problem, you know, they're trying to hang back and not really care about it. And Jean is disgusted by this, and he was so grateful and thankful that it wasn't him up there, and that he made the choice to go join the scouts, you know, and fight for the cause, and be out there and be part of the solution, or try to be part of the solution instead of hanging back, you know. So, you know, what a change, right? Going all the way back, even back to his training. Remember Keith Shardis? He asked him. He's like, you know, what do you want to do? I still remember. He was so happy. He's like, oh, I want to, you know, join the military police, and he gets a headbutt for that, for saying that he wants to, you know, be safe and live in the inner walls. You know, to him that was the ultimate goal back then. But like, look at him now, man. You know, now he is out here. He is going to the danger. He's going to the problem. He's definitely one of my favorites, man. And then he has another moment because he, you know, he goes to Armin and sees that Eren hasn't transformed, right? He's confused, and Armin tells him that Eren couldn't do it, and this kind of sets him off again. And he's like, whoa, he, you know, he's not gonna accept that Eren isn't able to do this. He goes there, he's like yelling at him. I believe he's trying to shake him, you know, and he tells him, don't you remember that day? All of our trust is in your hands, our lives are in your hands. Basically, kind of like a get your shit together, man. This is not gonna fly. But, you know, again, you know, he realizes that Annie is out there causing a problem, and he's like, okay, let's go deal with her. She's caused, you know, she's a problem right now. So again, you know, Jean just being an absolute badass, you know, facing the problem and trying to solve the problem. And, you know, isn't it just crazy that both Armin and Jean are out here by choice confronting this Titan, and not just any Titan. This is like the Titan, man. This is, you know, and they're out here by choice, and he's taunting her. You know, he's like, oh, you have to kill me this time. Or all your talk of your bet, you know, paying off, it's all just for nothing. And, you know, Annie again had a shocked look on her face. She was shocked to see this, that Armin is out here, you know, starting from the beginning of the season to now, to this point, as both of them are by choice out there trying to fight Annie. Just great, man. It's so cool to see, because I've seen him grow over these 24 episodes now. I've actually seen him grow, you know, so it's so cool to actually see that. There's a bit of a funny moment. Hanji, you know, she's got crazy doctor eyes, you know, mad scientist eyes going on. They trap her for a little bit, but it didn't really do much. You know, she got out. But yeah, I believe that brings me back to the beginning of my discussion, and you know, how Eren finally broke through, and how Armin helped him do it again. Looks like he was finally able to clear his mind. He has a goal, you know, he's got intent. He knows what has to be done. You know, I believe he said, you know, he can't think of right or wrong now. Just act on it. Just do something. So looks like he's finally abandoned something to change something, right? Hopefully. Let's see. Though I'll be honest, like I don't want him to kill her. You know, I don't want Annie to die. I don't want that. Because I still need answers. I need to know just her background. I need more flashbacks. Yeah, and I guess that kind of plays into predictions, I guess, right? Because the next episode is the last one. So predictions and things I kind of hope I get to see. I do hope Annie doesn't die. Like I just said, you know, I need answers. I don't really want her to die. You know, I don't think she's a bad person. I don't think she's just doing this for sport. She's not killing people just because she hates humanity or she wants to exterminate humanity. There's so much more. There's so much backstory that I need to know. Colossal and Armored, you know, I do like how they've used them. You know, they haven't overused them, because, you know, I saw the Colossal like once in the first episode, and then I saw him again right after the training ended, right? Episode 4 or 5. Both of those, yeah. The fight continues into episode 5. And the armor, just seen him the one time. And it's crazy that they've only shown these characters just a few times, but like they've had such a looming presence, in my mind at least. So are they going to show up? I don't know. 20 minutes, usually episodes are 20 minutes. This fight has to happen, right? And I'm sure there has to be some other stuff that has to go down. Unless they do like a cliffhanger. This show does love doing cliffhangers. Maybe the armored might come back in right at the end or something. A cliffhanger. That'd be a savage cliffhanger if the armored shows up and that's the end of the episode. Now I noticed that some of them are missing. I didn't see Connie, and I didn't see Reiner and Mr. B. So those 3 are missing. Who else is missing? I think everyone else is here. So I'm not sure what's going on. Connie's missing. Reiner, Mr. B. As of this point, I have no idea because they haven't told me anything. They haven't shown me anything. But they are missing. They're not here. Sasha. Sasha's missing as well. I guess I kind of hope to see what's going on with them. A bit strange that they kind of got pushed out of this. And of course, I highly doubt they're gonna travel to the basement in Shiganshina, but I hope maybe show me some kind of scene. Show me some kind of something. Just show me something. They've been teasing this all season, so show me something related to the basement. There's definitely not enough time for them to settle this, and then it would have to be a time jump. But just show me something. Show me something. And in terms of the fight itself, it's the final episode. It's all been building up to this. I do think Eren's probably gonna, end up besting her finally. But I hope he doesn't kill her. I hope Eren Titan doesn't end up killing her though. But yeah, so there's episode 24. If you enjoyed it, please smash that thumbs up. Leave your comments. Let me know what you guys thought. Huge thank you to my amazing patrons. Thank you so much for all the amazing support. Thank you for sticking around. And I hope you're enjoying the early access stuff, full length episodes. And yeah, so this is it. I'm going to move on to the finale. So yeah, this is it. I'm going to move right on to the finale. I'm guessing it's going to be an exciting episode. It's the finale to a fantastic season. It's got to be exciting. I'm excited, so I'm going to go right into it. Thanks for checking this out. Take it easy.